Good afternoon again, everyone. We apologize again for the delay in start, but we are going to proceed with the competition here this afternoon. Let me just welcome all of you to competition 6 in round 1 of the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition, headline sponsored by Dragon Windows. This is our final competition in round 1, and we'll be selecting our final 5 who will move on to the semi-final round, which will commence following the Easter break. The students have already dipped and are seated in the order in which they will read. And before we start competition, let's just all stand as students of the Sufria Primary School lead us in the national anthem as well as a prayer.
Isle of beauty, isle of splendor, isle to all so sweet and fair. Almost surely gaze in wonder at thy gifts so rich and rare. Rivers, valleys, hills and mountains, all these gifts we do extol. Healthy land so like all fountains, giving cheer that warms the soul. Dominica, God has blessed thee with a climate night and bright, pastures green and flowers of beauty, filling all with pure delight. And the people strong and healthy, full of godly reverent fear. May we ever seek to praise thee for these gifts so rich and rare. Come ye forward, sons and daughters of this gem beyond compare. Strive for honor, sons and daughters, do the right, be firm, be fair. Toil with hearts and hands and voices, we must prosper, song the call, in which everyone rejoices, all for each and each for all.
Please keep standing.
Heavenly Father, today we acknowledge you as the supreme being and as the owner of our lives. As we are gathered here for this reading competition, we thank you for the opportunity to be in the land of the living. We thank you for everyone gathered here, especially the bright minds that will be representing their various schools. We thank you for the organizers of this initiative as well as the sponsors. Lord, I pray that you will bless all the readers with wisdom and eloquence so that they will deliver well. Bless our proceedings here this afternoon and let your will be done. We make this prayer through the passion of your only begotten Son, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, God forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Sophia Primary, for the prayer and national anthem. We as well want to welcome other staff of DBS Radio who are here. Our representative from the Dominica Calypso Association, Mr. Gregory Riviere, also known by his stage name, Caressa. He's here with us. He'll be sharing with us. Of course, our theme this year is reading and Calypso as we show the connection with the literary component of this art form. Let me introduce you to our 10 readers here today. I want to say Zone 6 is the only zone this year where all the schools that are in this group have participated in this year's reading competition. So a round of applause to you all, to Zone 6, for your commitment to the National Reading Competition. Reading for us at number 1 from the Grand Bay Primary School, Jolon Gregoire. You can just wave. He says he has watched all 5 competitions thus far, and he is the better reader. Reading at number 2 from the Newtown Primary School, Jadon Telemark. At number 3, Amelia Barron from the Bagatelle Primary School. Reader number 4, Onik Hector from the Bellevue Chopet Primary. Ades John Baptist from the St. Luke's Primary School will read at number 5. Aliyah Paquette, reader number 6 from the Mont Prospect Primary School. Reader number 7 from the Wharton Waven Primary, Irvincia Charles. Giselle Rodney from the Tetmon Primary School will read at number 8. Michael Gregoire from the Soufriere Primary School will read at number 9. And reading at number 10, Amaya Benjamin from the Girardel Primary School. We also want to say thank you to our headline sponsor, Dragon Windows. Choose Dragon Windows, build resilience, build quality. Other sponsors, Jay's Bookstore, Jay's Limited for all your books, back to school and office supplies. OT Trucking and Septic Cleaners, you call, they haul. Ruben's Bakery, come taste the difference. Macmillan Service Station, your Macmillan, your one-stop automobile shop. APP Electricals, we do it better. La Falaise Medical Lab, quality and confidentiality assured. The West Coast Cooperative Credit Union, your only credible choice for success. The National Cooperative Credit Union, your community financial partner. Petro-Caribbean, Energy for Union. The Dominica Air and Seaport Authority, DASPA, a dynamic gateway to economic growth. Peanuts Mountain Resort, Nature's Harmony, your modern retreat. Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, the Dominica Electricity Services, Domlec, the power to serve you better, Lindomart, Jungle Bay, AC Shillingford and Company Limited, Perky's Pizza, and the Dominica Water and Sewage Company Limited, our water, our treasure, our life, RFS, Express des Îles. So thank you to all our sponsors. And before we get into Round 1 of competition 6, we will just listen to a recording of the rules and the rubric that the students will be judged according to, okay? And then we get into round 1.
DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition. Competition rules. Rule number 1. The competition is open to grades 3, 4, and 5 students, ages 10 and under. Rule number 2. Students are expected to dress in complete school uniforms since they are representing their schools. Rule number 3. Students will be judged based on attached rubric. Rule number 4. There will be 3 rounds of competition. During each round, students will be expected to read a narrative, a news item, and a sports item. Rule number 5. The top 30 students from round 1 will advance to round 2, the semifinals. Rule number 6. The top 10 students from round 2 will advance to the final round after all 3 groups have competed. Rule number 7. At the end of each group competition in round 1, students will be given a certificate of participation. Rules for the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition. DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition Reading Rubric. Items scored from 1 to 5. Item 1. Were all words read accurately and fluently? Item 2. Did student establish frequent eye contact? Item 3. Was punctuation interpreted correctly? Item 4. Was expression used effectively? That is, sounded professional, changes tone to emphasize important content. Item 5. Changes in inflection and tone to capture mood of story. Item 6. Were words grouped logically? Item 7. Was there effective voice projection and volume? Item 8. Was the selection read at an appropriate rate for audience and purpose? Item 9. Was the student able to recover quickly if a mistake was made? And item 10. Did the student appear relaxed or confident? Items are scored from 1 to 5, 5 being the highest. The highest total possible for any student is 50. DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition Reading Rubric.
And that was DBS Radio's very own Hazari Williams reading for us the rubric and the rules. We'll jump right into round 1 with our first reader, Julon Gregoire from the Grand Bay Primary School in the narrative round.
Nick and Kate stood outside the kitchen door of their home and listened. From inside came the sound of a scolding voice. You sat in that chair sleeping for 2 whole hours, you lazy wrench. You get outside and mend that shed door. She's in a bad temper again, said Nick, frowning. Listen to her. It's no good asking today. The children walked down the garden and sat on a pile of logs. Nick was 12 and Katie was just 11. It was easy to see that they were brother and sister, for they had the same dark brown eyes and straight brown hair. Katie looked at Nick. If we don't ask Auntie Margaret tonight, we shan't be able to go on the school trip, she said. We've got to take the money to Mrs. Hall tomorrow. We're the only ones who haven't paid yet. I hate having to ask for her money, said Nick. If only Mom and Dad were still here, they'd pay for the school trip, knowing we'd have a marvelous time. 6 months before, Nick and Kate had both lost their parents in a car crash just after Christmas. Their grandmother was too badly injured in the accident to be able to care for the children, so their neighbors had looked after them for the first few weeks while their future was decided. Great Aunt Charlie, their mother's brother, were their guardians. It had been decided that the two children should go to live with Uncle Charlie and his wife, Aunt Margaret.
Round of applause for Jolon Gregoire, reader number 1 from the Grand Bay Primary School. Let us introduce you to judge number 1, Miss Edwina Doughton. She's the principal of the Dominica Grammar School, and she has judged the reading competition not only locally, but at the OECS level. So judge number 1, Edina Doughton, everybody. Okay, so the judges have discussed among themselves, and due to the mic toppling over, they have requested that reader number 1 read his piece again. So we will hear from Jolon Gregoire from the Grand Bay Primary School in the narrative round again.
And Nick and Kate stood outside the kitchen door of their home, and listened. From inside came the sound of a scolding voice. "You sat in that chair for 2 whole hours, you lazy wretch. You get outside and mend that shed door." "She's in a bad temper again," said Nick, frowning. "Listen to her. It's no good asking her today." The children walked down the garden and sat on a pile of logs. Nick was 12 and Katie was just 11. It was easy to see that they were brother and sister, for they had the same dark brown eyes and straight brown hair. Kate looked at Nick. "If we don't ask Auntie Margaret tonight, we shan't be able to go on the school trip," she said. "We've got to take the money to Mrs. Hall tomorrow. We're the only ones who haven't paid yet." I hate having to ask her for money," said Nick. "If only Mom and Dad were still here, they'd have paid for the school trip, knowing we'd have a marvelous time." 6 months before, Nick and Katie had lost both their parents in a car crash, just after Christmas. Their grandmother was too badly injured in the accident to be able to care for the children. So their neighbors had looked after them for the first few weeks while the future was decided. Great aunt Great Aunt Jill was too old to help. Uncle Bob, their father's best friend, and Uncle Charlie, their mother's brother, were their guardians. It had been decided that the two children should go live with Uncle Charlie and his wife, Aunt Margaret.
And that was Jolan Gregoire from the Granbury Primary School, reader number 1. Reading for us at number 2 is Jadon Telemark from the Newtown Primary School. And while our judges tabulate their scores, we can tell you that Jadon is in grade 4. He loves reading and being engaged in sporting activities, his favorite of which is football. According to his bio, he has a personality that draws his classmates to him, and he's a very outgoing student. So, reader number 2 in the narrative round, Jadon Telemark. And the judges. Ready? Yes. Okay, so Jadon will be given his script. We are ready. Jadon Telemark from the Newtown Primary School reading his narrative piece.
I wish we could have gone to live with Uncle Bob, said Katie sadly. He's such fun, and he wouldn't have treated us unkindly like Aunt Margaret does. He couldn't look after us because detectives work all hours, said Nick, who was Uncle Bob's grandson, and admired him tremendously. And anyways, he's been sent to Australia for 3 years. Uncle Charlie's all right, said Katie, but he's so scared of Aunt Margaret that he never says anything when she's angry and scolds us. And now that Uncle Charlie's lost his job, she's unbearable, said Nick gloomily. I wish we could have lived with Mike and Penny next door. Their mom and dad were so kind those first awful weeks after the crash. I know, but there wasn't any room for us there after their grandmother went to live with them, said Katie. We were luckily Mr. and Mrs. Fraser's agreed to let Mike and Penny look after Punch when we couldn't take him to Aunt Margaret's. I still can't bear to think about him, said Nick. He was the best dog in the world. The two children looked unhappily at each other. There was so very different from a year ago. No mom and dad, no pets, no excitement, and nothing to look forward to. The school trip would be such fun, but if Aunt Margaret was in a bad temper, she wouldn't let them go. Everyone else in school is going. Simply everyone, said Katie. A whole day by the sea. Think of it. And it's not as if it is an expensive trip. I know. I wish we had the money. Then we could go without asking Aunt Margaret, said Nick.
Give it up for reader number 2, Jadon Telemark from the Newtown Primary School. We just want to tell you all to keep the conversations down while the students are reading. We can hear you on stage, and we don't want to distract the readers from their scripts. Okay, so the judges are ready for reader number 3, Amelia Barron from the Bagatelle Primary School. Give her a round of applause as she... Oh. Hold on. All right, judges are ready for you. Amelia Barron, Bagatelle Primary.
We never have pocket money, for though I'm sure we're meant to have some from the money Uncle Bob sends for our keep. It's only when Uncle gives us something that we have anything to spend. And then, if Aunt Margaret finds it, she takes it away. They stopped talking for a moment and listened to the scolding voice that still came out from the open kitchen door. Sitting there with the newspaper in front of you all day long, lost your job again, and no wonder. The only thing you're ever on time for is your meals. What with you to look after and your tiresome nephew and niece, I'm just about fed up. There was a loud thump as Aunt Margaret spoke. She was ironing, and the children could tell by the bangs of the iron what a bad temper she was in. They waited for a while. Then their uncle came out with a scoly look on his face. He caught sight of the 2 children. One of these days I shall walk right out of the house and never come back, he said to them. There's no peace in this place at all. Nag, nag, nag all day long. Uncle, I suppose you couldn't possibly let us have some money, could you? Said Nick, rather hopelessly. For when his uncle had no job, he usually had no money either. Money? Whatever for? Asked Uncle Charlie. To go on the school trip, said Katie eagerly. You remember? You signed the form for us to say we could go. I haven't any for myself, let alone for you, said her uncle, dipping his hands into his pockets. He brought up a few pence, and that was all.
And that was Amelia Barron from the Bagatelle Primary School reading her narrative piece in round one of the 2025 DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition, Competition 6, headline sponsored by Dragon Windows. While the judges tabulate, we'll introduce you to judge number 2, Mrs. Josette Seraphine Hendrington. She's the president and International Commissioner of the Girl Guides Association of Dominica. She's a broadcaster at DBS Radio, among many other hats that she wears within other associations in Dominica. She holds a degree in travel management and a diploma in child care education, and has had over 30 years experience in travel and early childhood education. Judge number 2, Mrs. Josette Seraphine Hendrington. The judges are ready for reader number 4, Onik Hector from the Bellevue Chopin Primary School.
Your aunt takes all she can get. Better ask her. She went. He went off down the lane, and the children watched him. He was an engineer and had once run his own business. But things had gone wrong, and he was forced to sell it. He hated working for other people and was always in trouble for being careless or arriving late. Suddenly, their aunt came to the door and saw them. What are you idling out there for? She called out in their usual sharp voice. Katie, come in. No. Katie, come on in. Out here for. And help me with this ironing. Nick, tidy up the shelf. If you think I'm going to tell you the grove as lazy as your uncle, you're wrong. That wasn't a fair thing to say because Nick nor Katie was lazy. They were working hard at school and Katie won the story writing prize. At home, they did plenty of odd jobs for their aunt. Did them well. Katie went indoors with a slight. It was hot and ironing would make her feel hotter. Still, Nick went to the untidy shelf where his uncle's dirty tools lay well. Feel hot still. Well on the floor. Uncle Charlie could never bother to hang them up. In the kitchen, Aunt Marge was still in the bed. Was still in a bad temper. Katie said nothing. She began putting the pressed clothes neatly in the basket. She did her best, hoping Aunt Marge would feel pleased with her. Then perhaps she might ask her aunts if they could go to the school trip. Nick came back in. He stood near Katie, wondering if he dared to ask the money for the trip. What are you doing, standing here? Sharply, said his aunt sharply. I want to get some something out of me. Well, what is it?
Reader from the Bellevue Chopin Primary School, Onik Hector. He is a typical 9-year-old boy from the village of Grand Bay. He likes football and playing with his friends. He is in grade 4 and his favorite subject is mathematics. Another round of applause for Onik Hector from the Bellevue Chopin Primary School. While we wait for our judges, we want to say thank you to our headline sponsor, Dragon Windows. Choose Dragon Windows, build resilience, build quality. Jay's Bookstore, Jay's Limited for all your books, back to school and office supplies. OT Trucking and Septic Cleaners, you call, they haul. Ruben's Bakery, come taste the difference. Macmillan Service Station, your Macmillan, your one-stop automobile shop. APP Electricals, we do it better. Lafayette's Medical Lab, quality and confidentiality assured. These are some of our sponsors who has made this year's National Reading Competition a reality. The judges. Are we ready, judges? Yes. We have the nod. Coming in at number 5, Ada's John Baptist from the St. Luke's Primary School.
Aunt Margaret was clever at reading people's thoughts. Nick knew he would have to ask her no. You see, Aunt, it's the school trip tomorrow, and Mrs. Hall is taking us all to see the sea for the day. He began. The tickets include our tea as well. It's not a lot. We have to take our own lunch. Everybody else is going, so Katie and I wondered if we could go too. Thump, thump, went the iron angrily, and Nick's heart sank. And where are you going to get the money from? Asked his aunt. Well, we thought perhaps you could spare it just this once, said Nick. Thump went the iron. And then Aunt Margaret began one of her angry tirades. You thought I could spare it? With your feckless uncle out of work again. And me working hard in that village shop to make money to keep all 4 of us. You ought to be ashamed to ask, Nick. And you too, Katie. Nick opened his mouth to speak, but his aunt swept on, banging the iron down at the end of each sentence. It was a bad day for me when I married that lazy uncle of yours. And what does he do when his sister dies but bring you here and tells me it's our duty to look after you? Both their parents dead, poor little orphans. We've no children of your own, Margaret, he says. So we'll do our best to care for them. And then he's too lazy to keep a job. Aunt Margaret, began Nick. It was kind of you to take us in, but there's money for you to spend on our clothes and keep and things. Uncle Bob said there was.
And that was Ada's John Baptist from the St. Luke's Primary School reading his narrative piece. He is a grade 5 student whose favorite subject is science. He's from the community of Bellevue-Choupert. His favorite sports are playing basketball. His favorite sport is basketball, and his hobby is playing Roblox. We continue to say thanks to our sponsors, APP Electrical, We Do It Better, Lafelle's Medical Lab, quality and confidentiality assured, the West Coast Cooperative Credit Union, your only credible choice for success, the National Cooperative Credit Union, your community financial partner, Petrocaribe, Energy for Union, the Dominica Air and Seaport Authority, DASPA, a dynamic gateway to economic growth. Again, thank you to all our sponsors who have made this year's National Reading Competition a reality. Reading for us at number 6 is Miss Aliyah Paquette from the Mont Prosper Primary School. Let's give her a round of applause as she makes her way to the reading table.
It takes a great deal of money to buy you both everything you need. And your Uncle Bob only sends money every 3 months. It's run out now, and the next lot's not due for another fortnight, said Aunt Margaret crossly. Uncle Bob told me there should be enough money to last us until we are both grown up, said Nick bravely. If you run out before the 3 months are up, you can't you write to him and explain that we both had to have new school uniforms this term? And have him say I'm being wasteful or using it for myself? Shouted Aunt Margaret as she banged the iron down. I don't know why your uncle brought you here when he could have gone into care. I never liked children and I didn't want you. But I've got to put up with you so you don't come asking me for money for school trips. Katie was crying. Don't keep saying you don't want us, she sobbed. It's awful not to be wanted. I'm glad you didn't let us go into care. We do try to help you all we can. Oh, go out of doors if you're going to cry all over the ironing, said her aunt impatiently. But she looked a little ashamed of herself. Katie slipped out at once, and Nick followed her. They went out of the gate and crossed to the wood that stretched for some miles over the countryside. They sat down on a bank of grass, and Nick put his arm round Katie. Don't cry, Katie, he said. What's the use? We know Aunt Margaret doesn't want us, but at any rate she gives us a home.
And that was Aliyah Paquette from the Mont Prosper Primary School reading her narrative piece. Aliyah is from the community of Mont Prosper. She's in grade 4. She loves reading, writing, and socializing with her friends. Her school has said she's a promising young student. Aliyah Paquette from the Mont Prosper Primary School. We say thank you to other sponsors, Peanuts Mountain Resort, Nature's Harmony, Your Modern Retreat, Joseph and Gabriel and Company Limited, the Dominica Electricity Services, Domlec, the Power to Serve You Better, Lindomart, the Central Cooperative Credit Union, Jungle Bay, AC Shillingford and Company Limited, Perky's Pizza, Dominica Water and Sewage Company Limited, or Water or Treasure or Life, and FRS Express Diesels. The judges are ready. Reading for us at number 7, Irvincia Charles from the Watton Waven Primary School.
It's not a proper home, said Katie, wiping her eyes. Proper homes aren't like this. Nick thought of their old home and of their parents who had never minded how much time and trouble they took with them both. Why did Mom and Dad had to die, Nick? She asked, beginning to cry again. I don't know, said Nick, hugging her. But at least we've got each other. Katie awoke feeling very excited. It was early, but she couldn't go to sleep again. She wished she had something new and smart to wear from the trip. Aunt Margaret's voice came through the door. It's time to get up, Katie. Go down and lay the breakfast table. Nick helped Katie to lay the table, and both children looked in delight at the sunny day outside. It's going to be fine, said Nick. Isn't that good? The sea will be as blue as forget-me-nots. Shh! Here comes Aunt Margaret, whispered Katie. They had breakfast. Their uncle was lost in his newspaper, looking sulky. He glanced at the children and wished he had some money to give them. He was fond of them, but he had to hand over all that he earned to Aunt Margaret. Aunt Margaret made a few remarks to him about going off to look for work as soon as breakfast was finished. He scowled at her. Nagging for breakfast, nagging for lunch, nagging for tea, he growled. I tell you, one of these days you'll nag me out of this house. It's a pity you don't go, said Aunt Margaret. There'll be one mouth less to feed. It was always safer to keep quiet when Aunt Margaret was cross. They were longing to get away to school.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We are judging, but you all are making too much noise. We cannot hear, especially for that last reader. I was disturbed many times. Chairs were being pulled. People are talking. We cannot hear. So if you would like us to judge them very fairly, please be quiet. Afterwards, when you finish, you can say what you have to say. But we need the quiet. We need to be able to hear everything that they're saying, that we can judge them fairly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Paula Dura, our judge number 3. Just to tell you, Paula Dura has been a teacher since graduating from the convent high school in 1980. She's now retired. She has said teaching and raising her 4 children were her greatest achievements. She's now a proud grandmother of 3. She said, but if I am ever to be remembered for anything, it would be that I am a servant of the Most High God. Judge number 3, Miss Paula Dura, and I hope that we take Miss Dura's advice and keep our voices down while the students are reading. We had reading at number 7, Avincia Charles from the Wharton Raven Primary School. She's in grade 3. She is from Wharton Raven. She's 8 years old and enjoys drawing in her spare time. Her favorite subject is mathematics. Coming up next at number 8, Giselle Rodney from the Tetmon Primary School.
Nick could feel the Nick could feel the precious coins almost burning a hole in his pocket. Aunt Margaret didn't know about them, so she couldn't take them away. But Kaylee, who dreaded her aunt's sharp, piercing eyes, thought she might be able to sense the money in Nick's pocket. She fidgeted, longing to leave the table and go. For goodness sake, Katie, what's the matter with you this morning? Said Auntie Margaret at last. Stop fidgeting. Be off to school before I get really annoyed. Katie shut off at once. Nick came out soon after, his school bag on his back and a bored grin on his face. Aunt can't make out why we're not moaning and groaning because we can't go on the school trip, he said. We ought to have looked sad and sorrowful. You nearly gave the game away. You look so excited, Katie. I can't help it, said Katie and skipped off beside Nick. I feel so happy. A whole day's holiday by the sea. I can't wait to swim through the waves again. And we'll find some shells and seaweed. Then a thought struck her and she turned to Nick looking scared. What will Aunt Margaret say when we don't go home to lunch? She'll guess we were where we all where we are all right, said Nick. She'll think Mrs. Hall paid for us, I expect. We mustn't tell her we got the money from Laura. I hate not being honest with Aunt Margaret, said Katie. Oh, Nick, I wish we needn't deceive her. We'd never have thought of deceiving Mom. We're not doing any harm, said Nick. We'll be earning the money ourselves by making the baskets. We're not robbing Aunt Margaret.
Reader number 8 from the Tetmon Primary School, Giselle Rodney. Giselle is 8 years old. She's in grade 3. Her favorite subject is language arts, phonics. She's from the community of Mountain, Grand Bay, and Goodwill. So she is from 3 areas in Dominica. Round of applause again for Giselle Rodney, our 8th reader in round number 1 here this afternoon at the Soufriere Primary School. Coming up next, our ninth reader, Michael Gregoire from the Soufriere Primary School. Michael is an 8-year-old student here at the Soufriere Primary School. He's making himself comfortable. Our judges are ready. Reader number 9 from our host school, Michael Gregoire.
Still, it would be nicer if we could trust her and tell her everything. The whole school is in uproar. Every child was going on the trip. The coach pulled up outside the school playground and the, the excited children started to climb in. As Nick and Katie waited to get on the bus, Aunt Margaret appeared, walking along the street on her way to the village shop where she worked. Katie saw her first and stared in horror. She pulled at Nick's arm. "Quick, hide behind Mrs. Hall. Our aunt will see us as she passes by the school." "No, get into the bus before she spots us," Nick whispered. They pushed forward and were just climbing in when their aunt did see them. She stared in surprise and then looked most annoyed. Who had paid for them? Where had they got the money? She hurried down the road towards the bus as Mrs. Hall got on with the last of the children. "Oh, driver, do start. Hurry, please," cried Kate to herself, her heart beating fast. "Quick, before Aunt Margaret comes." Her aunt came up behind the bus just as it began to move. She called out loudly, "Nick! Katie!" She ran after it, waving, but luckily no one recognized she was trying to stop the bus. In a moment, Aunt Margaret was left behind, and the children were safe. "We're really off," said Nick thankfully. "She can't catch us now, Katie." Laura was seated at the back of the bus with Nick and Katie. "Gosh, I thought she was going to jump into the bus and pull you out by your ears," she said. She looked dreadfully angry.
And that was reader number 9 from the Soufriere Primary School, Michael Gregoire. We are rounding off round 1 with Amaya Benjamin from the Girardel Primary School. She's 9 years old. She's in grade 3. Her hobbies are reading, painting, and drawing. Her favorite subject is mathematics. She loves school because it prepares her to be a doctor in the future. Let us welcome our final reader in round number 1 in competition 6, round 1 of the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition. Amaya Benjamin from the Girardel Primary School will give the judges a few more seconds as they're rounding up. Okay, they are ready. A round of applause. Reader number 10 from the Girardel Primary School, Amaya Benjamin in the narrative round.
What will she do to you when you get back home? We won't think about it, said Nick. We're going to enjoy every minute of freedom. It was a lovely day. The sun shone down and the water was cool to swim in. All the children were hungry at lunchtime, especially Katie and Nick, who had no supper the night before. Laura sat beside them and unwrapped an enormous packet of sandwiches with hard-boiled eggs and tomatoes as well. She handed some to Nick and Katie. Mom guessed you wouldn't be able to bring much lunch, so she's given me extra of everything to share, she said. There are crisps and chocolate and apples as well. Nick and Katie ate everything hungrily. After lunch, the two girls wandered off to hunt for shells and seaweed while Nick sat with his bird book open, watching the different seagulls. Katie found some lovely shells. She held a big whelk shell to her ear and dropped it hastily when she found a hermit crab living inside it. The older children played cricket and football on the sands and then cooled off in the sea again. While the tea was lovely, while the little ones made sandcastles for the incoming tide to fill up. Tea was lovely, and there was plenty of it. Then, after a last hour of wandering along the edge of the waves, it was time to climb into the bus and go home. Nick and Katie were very silent as the bus sped along. What would their aunt say to them? Let's tell her Mrs. Hall paid for us, said Katie. That's a lie, said Nick. We can't possibly say that. Say you earned the money yourselves, suggested Laura.
Reader number 10, Amaya Benjamin, rounding off the narrative round for us here this afternoon. A round of applause for all our readers. And if this round you were impressed with their reading, give them another round of applause. We are going to take a short break while we wait for the judges to put their scores together. We will call on Mr. Gregory Caressa Riviere if he is still around. Call in Mr. Caressa. I think he went to sit in his vehicle. It is very hot. So he's on his way. But we did not get a chance to hear the end of the story. How do you think the story ends? Anybody? Any of our readers can predict the end of the story?
I think that they ended up getting caught by their aunt. They got a beating.
Okay, so she thinks they did get caught and were punished. Who else? What ending can we come up with? Okay, Mr. Caressa is here. Give it up for Mr. Gregory Rivera, known by his stage name Caressa. He'll just speak to us briefly on our theme, reading and Calypso.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Good afternoon to everyone. I mean, it's a sad thing to invite a Calypsonian to talk. Calypsonians supposed to sing. Yeah? So let us sing, man. Everybody listening, oh, to we children reading. They're reading without no flaws. So let us give them a round of applause. All right. So far, we enjoying the reading competition. I want to thank DBS very much for inviting Calypso Association to make a brief presentation as it relates to Calypso linking with reading. First of all, let me recognize our education officer for the South, and I see Ambassador Gregor and all the other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, staff of DBS and principals, staff, and students from the 10 primary school in this 6 competition. All right. Now, what can we say about Calypso quickly? We have to do that in less than 5 minutes. Calypso, of course, is an expression in songs, where we use the opportunity to express our feelings about something or something that is affecting us, something in the society, and so forth. Of course, Calypso was documented long ago, somewhere about 1912, sorry. Calypso was documented. But long before that, we sang Calypso on the plantation. Am I right? Calypso was sung on the plantation. The slaves were using Calypso to chant their master. They were letting the master feel good about themselves. But at the same time, they were really cursing the master. So they were using what we call satire to bring out their message to the master. Now, when I listen to the reading competition and I think of Calypso, I see quite a bit of similarities. The only difference is that they're not giving us a paper to sing. They're giving them a paper to read, but they're not giving us a paper to sing. So we have to memorize our songs, and we have to come there and present. But so far, the children here, they're doing an excellent job because they're employing some other techniques that we also employ in Calypso. And if I'm to look at a few of them, I took note of a few. Yeah, so like Calypso reading, I would employ what we call a CKM technique. Have you ever come across that term? A CKM technique. So I suspect I have to copyright that. All right. The first thing you need to do in Calypso as well as reading, you have to capture your audience. You have to make sure you capture your audience, and that will be done in your introduction. So you have to find an introduction that will have a strong opening impact. So when you hold your audience, you have to find a way to keep that audience. Okay? So the first thing you have to do, you have to make sure you capture your audience. The second thing you have to do is to keep your audience. You cannot let go your audience. When you catch something, you have to hold them there. Sometimes, if you performing or you're reading, if somebody want to use the toilet, they have to keep it there until you finish because they don't want to miss a word or they don't want to miss a sentence. So you have to keep your audience. And that will be done within the body of your presentation. And then the final thing you have to do, you have to keep your audience wanting more. So that's where the M come in. You keep your audience wanting more, and that is where you need to have a strong conclusion with a heavy closing impact. Okay? Now, I only have 5 minutes. But the judges are tabulated still, so I can tell you a little more. In Calypso, we use a lot of rhymes, and so because we have to keep our audience. And one of the ways you can keep audience is by using rhyming words. We try to make our phrases short. If you notice with the reading, we have, especially the narrative, the phrases, we have pauses around whether we are commas or full stops or so on, very similar to that of Calypso. In Calypso, we have what we call and response. That is a feature of Calypso. Sometimes we don't do much of it in the reading, but in Calypso, we do call and response. We try to employ a lot of humor because humor is important to keep your audience. If you give them a little joke now and then, they will stay with you. Satire is another very important aspect of the art form because you do not want to offend anyone. When you tell them something, even if it's bad, they have to enjoy it. You know, and sometimes there are certain Calypsonians that would even tell the minister something bad and still get the minister to come on stage to dance with him. You know, so that is satire. Then we try to employ poetic language. We make sure we use metaphors and similes, exaggeration, those kind of things. All those help to keep your audience. Now, you can employ all that and you do not deliver properly, you're going to have problem. So, for delivery, especially my children here, you have to maintain eye contact. You cannot lose your audience. You have to maintain eye contact. So you have to find a way of when you're reading, look up now and then, and come down back, look up, come down back. With Calypso, we have to get the people eyeball. We cannot be looking up in the ceiling and singing. No, you're going to lose your audience. Or you cannot be looking on the ground and or give them your back. You're going to lose your audience. So you have to maintain eye contact. The question of pronunciation, and I heard the rules spoke about pronunciation and enunciation and articulation and intonation. It's a lot of shun that we have to employ when we are reading as well as when we are singing Calypso. The question of diction, clarity, interpretation. A big must sound like big, and a little must sound like little. Slow, when we're talking about dynamics, slow has to be slow, and fast has to be fast. Interpretation. So all those, ladies and gentlemen, are some of the things that you employ when you're delivering your reading as well as when you are delivering your Calypso. Finally, because I notice she comes a little closer. Finally, because of the way Calypso was formed, of course it was brought to the region by the French, started off in Trinidad, and we had some great Calypsonians. And that is for your research, Attila the Hunt. You had invaders singing songs like Rum and Coca-Cola. You had fellas like the Roaring Lion and the Growling Tiger. Those are the kind of names they used to have in Calypso before, you know. Not the nice name like Dice and Caressa. No, it's all rough names, you know. So those persons, they actually set the foundation for the art form. And in those days, they used to focus on songs of freedom, songs of that brings out equality, fair play, songs that brings out justice. Those are some of the songs. But now we have Calypso taking all different forms. And you hear everything in Calypso. And sometimes you hear in scripture, you hear in, what again, sister? I wish you all were the one judging Calypso, I would win every time. But, so Calypso has taken different forms, but the most important thing, we are happy that it is still very popular in Dominica. And around Carnival time, we get an opportunity to express ourselves. We must always remember the great Calypsonians of the past, fellas like the Lord Kitchener. So you can research that if you don't know Kitchener, singing this song about sugar boom, sugar boom. And then we had fellas like Sparrow singing education. You know that one? Children go to school and learn well. Otherwise, later on in life, you go catch real hells. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be pure misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated little boy or girl. Don't follow idle companion to lead you astray. To earn tomorrow, you have to learn today. I think I will close off here. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your reading competition. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gregory Rivera Caressa, ladies and gentlemen, giving us some entertainment through his singing and a few words of encouragement to our readers, as well as linking the importance of reading and Calypso. We are going to move on to round number 2, the news round. But before the students begin reading, they will listen for the stinger that we're going to have played right now, the DBS stinger.
DBS News.
So after you hear this, you begin reading. We are starting round number 2, our news round, with our first reader from the Grand Bay Primary School. Let's give it up for reporter number 1, Jolan Gregoire.
DBS News.
24 Dominican students have been featured on the CXC merit list for 2024, ranking in the top 10 in the region in various subjects. Minister for Education, Octavia Alfred, says the results represent a satisfactory year for Dominican students in the CXC exam. She adds that Dominican students also featured in subjects such as social studies, mathematics, and integrated science.
Reader number 1, Jolan Gregoire from the Grand Bay Primary School. The judges are tabulating, and we are going to call Jolan to tell us a little bit about himself, because we do not have his bio, but Jolan, can you come? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So tell us a little about yourself.
I like playing Roblox, and I don't really like reading, but yeah.
You don't like reading. So how did you end up participating in a reading competition?
Because I'm a good reader.
Okay, so how does someone who don't like reading become a good reader?
I don't know.
He's a natural-born reader, ladies and gentlemen. Reading straight from the womb. Jolan Gregoire from the Grand Bay Primary School. Reading at number 2 from the Newtown Primary School, Jadon Telemac. Reading his news piece. Remember to wait for the DBS News stinger before you proceed to reading.
DBS News.
Dominicans have been encouraged to support the country in the Travel Plus Leisure World's Best Award 2025. Dominicans have been ranked high in the award category over the last 3 years. The Discover Dominica Authority says public support is critical towards helping Dominica maintain its status as a leading travel destination.
Reader number 2 from the Newtown Primary School, Mr. Jadon Telemak. Before you go sit, Jadon, do you like reading?
Yes.
Do you read every day, except at school? Do you read at home?
Yes.
What's your favorite book?
That is a tricky one.
He said it's a tricky one. You have many favorites?
Too many.
So what type of books do you like reading?
Big books.
Yes, but action, comics, fiction.
Comics.
Okay, so who's your favorite character in the comics? Too many to think of?
No. I cannot choose one.
Well, okay, tell me a few.
Spider-Man, Iron Man, Hulk, Batman, and I'm not naming the rest.
Okay, so we have someone who loves comic books with us this afternoon. And we are going to call our third reader in our news round from the Bagatelle Primary School, Amelia Baron.
DBS News.
Technical specialist at the Inter-American Institution for Cooperation on Agriculture, Dominica, Anthony Cyril, says the 4th annual Caribbean Virtual Trade Mission promises to increase trade opportunities for Caribbean businesses. The mission is set to take place from November 26 to 28, 2024. Cyril is encouraging local producers and small business owners to take advantage of this opportunity.
And that was from the Bagatelle Primary School, reading at number 3, Amelia Baron. We are going to move on to our 4th reader, our 4th news reporter here this afternoon. He comes from our judges are not ready as yet. Okay, they said to give them 1 minute. Coming from the Bellevue Chopin Primary School, our 4th reader this afternoon in the news round, Onik Hector.
It's a little low. Just a little bit low. It's a little low.
A delegation from the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, has arrived in Dominica. The mission will assess the medical air system at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital and evaluate the National Blood Transfusion Service of Dominica. PAHO Country Program Director Dr. Nicole Slack-Liebert says the mission is in line with the PAHO's mandate of achieving universal access to health.
Reader number 4 from the Belleville Chopin Primary School, Mr. Onik Hector. Let's get to know Mr. Hector a little bit more. Good afternoon to you.
I'm good.
Okay, so you answered my next question. Tell me about you. What do you like to read?
Nothing.
You don't like reading?
No.
So how did you end up here this afternoon?
My mom signed me up.
Your mother, okay. You were the only person signed up for the competition? You were the only one who signed up for the competition?
Yeah.
Okay. And you just happen to be a good reader too?
Yes.
Okay. Natural readers we have here this afternoon. Let us hear from Amelia Barron. Hi.
Hello.
Did your mommy sign you up too?
Well, she asked me, and I said I wanted to join.
Okay. Did you have an in-school competition? Did you have a competition at school that you won, or were you the only person who was brave enough to come here today?
I was the only one.
Okay, a round of applause. We have some brave readers with us this afternoon. Reading for us at number 5, it is John Baptist from the St. Luke's Primary School. A round of applause for him as he comes to read his news piece. Remember to wait for the stinger before you start reading.
DBS News.
Manager of Sagicor Dominica, Cheryl Roll, has called for legislation to discourage littering in Dominica. Her call came on the Connecting the Dots program on DBS on the weekend. Mrs. Roll, an outstanding insurance representative for over 40 years, received a Meritorious Service Award during this year's Independence Day celebrations.
From the St. Luke's Primary School, it is John Baptist. Let's hear from Mr. John Baptist. Hello.
Hello.
Do you like reading?
Yes.
Okay, so how did you become the reader to represent your school today?
Because I was good at reading.
You're the best reader in your school right now?
Yes.
Okay, so he's the best reader at the St. Luke's Primary School. Is that true? Teachers from the St. Luke's Primary School, is he your best reader right now? They all are the best, but he's the one to meet the criteria this year. Thank you, Mr. John Baptist. We are getting ready for our 6th reader this afternoon. The news round and the sports round normally goes by quickly. From the Mont Prospect Primary School, Aliyah Paquette.
DBS News.
Consumers of the electricity will know in the first quarter of 2025 whether they will be asked to pay the new rates one way or the other. The Independent Regular Commission and DOMLEC have been engaged in a tarific review exercise. The process continued yesterday with stakeholders meeting at the Prevost Cinema.
Reader number 6, Aliyah Paquette from the Mont Prosper Primary School. Hi, Aliyah.
Hi.
Do you like reading or do you love reading?
Not at all.
You don't like, okay. So how did you end up reading for us today?
Because I was the only person to be signed up with.
You were the only person who signed up. And you are confident that you are a great reader.
Yes.
Is she a great reader, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, okay. So your confidence in yourself is working out for you here today. So we are moving on to our next reader, also from the Valley, from the Watson Waven Primary School, reading at number 7. We have Ervincia Charles, who will make her way to the reading table. And before, we remind you to wait for the stinger, the DBS radio stinger, before you proceed with your reading. Round of applause from Ervincia Charles from the Watson Waven Primary School. We'll give our judges just a few more seconds to finish tabulating and for some water to be mopped up on the stage before we begin.
DBS News.
Minister of State in Ministry of Health with special responsibility for gender affairs, Dr. Cassandra Williams, has called on men to take ownership of their health. Dr. Williams made the call as Dominica joined the international community in the observance of International Men's Day on Tuesday. The theme for International Men's Day was Men Health Champions.
And that was Ervincia Charles from the Watson Waven Primary School. Don't go too far. Hi.
Hello.
Do you love reading?
Yes.
Okay, so you love reading. What do you like to read?
Reading and writing every day.
Okay, so what do you like reading? Do you have a favorite storybook?
Not really.
Not really, so you read everything? So what do you like writing? Stories, fairy tales?
I like to write stories.
Oh, reading and writing is the name of a book. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, so that's your favorite book, reading and writing. So is it an activity book?
Yes.
So what type of book is it? Is it a textbook? Oh, so you're really studious. You love reading your textbooks.
Yes.
And apart from reading and writing, what's your favorite subject at school?
Math.
Mathematics? So can we see you in the next math challenge that might be coming up?
Yes.
Okay, so we already have our mathematics competitor for the maths challenge who just happens to like to read as well. Coming up next from the Tetmon Primary School, Miss Giselle Rodney in the news round. She's going to make herself comfortable at the reading table. Again, we remind you to wait for the DBS Radio News stinger before you proceed to reading.
DBS News.
Close to 40 young business owners will be recognized later today as the Dominica Youth Business Trust holds its 20th graduation and award ceremony. Senator Oscar George says the government's investments in the small business sector over the years has been significant. He says a grant of over $17 million has been distributed to develop small business.
From the Tetmon Primary School, Miss Giselle Rodney. Hello.
Hello.
Do you like reading?
No.
So how did you end up representing your school today?
Because of my mother.
Your mother. Where is your mommy? Hi, mommy. So you just woke up one day and she told you that you're representing your school?
Yes.
Really? And then what? You went to school and you told them that you're the representative?
Yes.
Oh, that's how it works. Okay. Okay. So are you happy to be here?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you're all doing a very good job. Are you enjoying yourself?
Yes.
Okay. So Tetmon Primary, we seem to have students who are natural readers who woke up one morning and their parents were like, you're the representative for your school. Okay, we move on to our next reader from the Sophia Primary School, our host school here today. Michael Gregoire, reading at number 9.
Yes.
DBS News.
Dominica will join the rest of the world to observe World Fisheries Day under the theme Protecting Our Ocean to Support Livelihoods and to Strengthen Blue Economy Sectors. In recognition of the day, the Fisheries Division has organized activities island-wide to include students, youth, fishers, and other stakeholders. A trivia competition at the Dominica State College is set for 10 o'clock this morning.
And that was Mr. Michael Gregoire from the Sophia Primary School. Let's hear from him. Hello.
Hello.
Do you like to read?
Yes.
Okay, so what was the process like? Were you selected? Did you have to compete?
Yes, in a competition.
And you were the top reader?
Yes.
So are you happy to be representing your school and that we are here with you at your school?
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite book to read?
Green eggs and ham.
Okay, do you have it memorized like some people?
Yes.
Okay, give us a few lines.
Dr. Seuss had green eggs and ham for breakfast.
Okay, green eggs and ham for breakfast. Have you had green eggs and ham?
No.
Do you know how to make green eggs and ham?
No.
Would you like to try green eggs and ham?
No.
Okay. Rounding off the news round for us from the Girardel Primary School, Amaya Benjamin. Let's give her a round of applause as she takes her place at the microphone.
DBS News.
Minister for Small Minister for Small Business Development, Miriam Blanchard, told graduates of Dominica Youth Business Trust that the great rich quickly attitude is not the path to success. 49 young entrepreneurs graduated from the DYBT program during the 20th graduation and award ceremony this week. She told them there are many examples here and abroad of people who have spent lengthy hours to develop themselves.
And a round of applause for our final reader this afternoon in the news round, Miss Amaya Benjamin from the Girardel Primary School. Hi, Amaya.
Hello.
Do you like to read?
Kind of.
What does kind of mean? You read because you have to?
Yes.
So how did you end up representing your school today?
It wasn't supposed to be me. It was somebody else, but they doesn't come schools every time, so they chose me.
So are you happy to be the one, though, representing your school?
Yes.
Okay, do you think you've made your school proud?
Yes.
And what do you have to say to your teachers for selecting you?
Nothing.
Okay, so we have come to the end of round number 2, our news round. We will take a short break while the judges tabulate and we prepare for the sports round. We want to say thank you to our sponsors, our headline sponsor, Dragon Windows. Choose Dragon Windows, build resilience, build quality. Jay's Bookstore, Jay's Limited. For all your books, back to school and office supplies. OT Trucking and Septic Cleaners, you call, they haul. Ruben's Bakery, come taste the difference. Macmillan's Service Station, your Macmillan, your one-stop automobile shop. APP Electricals, we do it better. Lafayette's Medical Lab, quality and confidentiality assured. The West Coast Cooperative Credit Union, your only credible choice for success. The National Cooperative Credit Union, your community financial partner. Petro-Caribbean, Energy for Union. The Dominica Air and Seaport Authority, DASPA, a dynamic gateway to economic growth. Penans Mountain Resort, Nature's Harmony, your modern retreat. Joseph and Gabriel and Company Limited, the Dominica Electricity Services, Domlec, the power to serve you better. Lindomat, the Central Cooperative Credit Union, Jungle Bay, AC Shillingford and Company Limited, Perky's Pizza, the Dominica Water and Sewage Company Limited, Our Water, Our Treasure, Our Life, and FRS Express Diesels.
DBS Radio, Felix Henderson, National Reading Competition, Competition Rules. Rule number 1. The competition is open to grades 3, 4, and 5 students, ages 10 and under. Rule number 2. Students are expected to dress in complete school uniforms since they are representing their schools. Rule number 3. Students will be judged based on attached rubric. Rule number 4. There will be 3 rounds of competition. During each round, students will be expected to read a narrative, a news item, and a sports item. Rule number 5. The top 30 students from round 1 will advance to round 2, the semifinals. Rule number 6. The top 10 students from round 2 will advance to the final round after all 3 groups have competed. Rule number 7. At the end of each group competition in round 1, students will be given a certificate of participation. Rules for the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition. DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition Reading Rubric. Items scored from 1 to 5. Item 1. Were all words read accurately and fluently? Item 2. Did student establish frequent eye contact? Item 3. Was punctuation interpreted correctly? Item 4. Was expression used effectively? That is, sounded professional, changes tone to emphasize important content. Item 5. Changes in inflection and tone to capture mood of story. Item 6. Were words grouped logically? Item 7. Was there effective voice projection and volume? Item 8. Was the selection read at an appropriate rate for audience and purpose? Item 9. Was the student able to recover quickly if a mistake was made? And item 10. Did the student appear relaxed or confident? Items are scored from 1 to 5, 5 being the highest. The highest total possible for any student is 50. DBS Radio, Felix Henderson, National Reading Competition, Reading Rubric.
And we are back. Our judges are ready for us to proceed with round number 3, the sports round. Before we call our first reader, we will play the sports stinger that will be played before they each read their sports piece.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
So reading for us in our third and final round, the sports round, from the Grand Bay Primary School, Jolon Gregoire.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
West Indies captain has said all is not lost following the Windies' defeat in the second T20 to England on Sunday. He says the team has to play better cricket if they are to win the series. The toss, he adds, has heavily influenced the outcome of the games. The Windies are trailing 2-0 in the fifth match series following Sunday's 7-wicket defeat. The third T20 is on Thursday in St. Lucia.
And that was Jelon Gregoire from the Grand Bay Primary School reading his final piece for us here this afternoon, a sports piece. We are going to give the judges a few more minutes, but we will not ask the students to divulge any more secrets to us here this afternoon. Coming to read for us at number 2 from the Newtown Primary School, Mr. Jadon Telemark. Let us welcome him to the microphone as he gets into his comfy reading position. Our judges are ready to proceed, so he will be giving his script. Please wait for the stinger before you begin reading.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Coach of the national swimming team, Jason Robin, has described Dominicans showing at 2024 OC Swimming Championship in St. Vincent as encouraging. Dominica took part in the competition for the first time in 20 years. Although Dominica did not medal at the event, a number of the swimmers recorded personal best times. Robin says the performances were very good given the challenges facing swimming in Dominica.
And that was reader number 2, Jadon Telemark from the Newtown Primary School. Reading for us at number 3, Amelia Barron from the Bagatelle Primary School. Let's make her feel welcome.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Portsmouth Secondary School, the Goodwill Secondary School, and Isaiah Thomas Secondary all registered wins as the Sports Division Secondary Schools football competition continued Monday afternoon. The Portsmouth Secondary School defeated the Dominica Community High School and Orion Academy combined 6 goals to 2. Isaiah Thomas Secondary School defeated St. Mary's Academy 3 goals to 1. The Goodwill Secondary School hammered the Dominica State College B team 11-0.
And that was Amelia Barron from the Bagatelle Primary School. We gave our judges just a few minutes for them to tabulate their scores before we proceed. And we call reader number 4, Onik Hector, representing the Bellevue Chopin Primary School. Wait for the stinger before you proceed to read.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Petro Caribe Point Michel's hopes of surviving in the DFA's Premier League will hang by the balance. This event as that tournament continues as the DFA Technical Center. Point Michel will battle third place Tranquility Beach Middleham United. Point Michel is trailing Bath Estates by 2 points with 3 games remaining in their season.
And that was Onik Hector from the Bellevue Chopin Primary School. Another round of applause for him. We now call on reader number 5, representing the St. Luke's Primary School, Ades John Baptist. Remember to wait for the stinger before you begin reading.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Windward Islands cricket vice captain Ryan John feels the Windwards can turn their fortunes around as they take to the field this morning. As the regional Super 50 over tournament continues today, the Windwards have lost 2 of their first 3 matches so far. They will come up against the Leeward Islands Hurricane this morning. The other match today will see the CCC taking on Barbados.
From the St. Luke's Primary School, Ades John Baptist, reader number 5 in our final round here at competition 6 in round 1 of the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition. We gave our judges just a few minutes for them to tabulate their scores for Mr. John Baptist before we move on. Coming up next, Miss Aliyah Paquette from the Mont Prospect Primary School reading her news piece. Remember to wait, her sports piece. Remember to wait for the stinger before you begin reading.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Big wins for the Dominica Grammar School and the Academic School of Learning as a Sports Division Secondary School on the 20 Boys Football Tournament continued this afternoon. Dominica Grammar School defeated the Kirkwoodville Secondary School 4 goals to 0. Over in the Portsmouth Academic School of Learning defeated Isaiah Thomas Secondary School 5 goals to 0.
And that was Aliyah Paquette from the Mont Prosper Primary reading her sports piece for us this afternoon. Our judges are ready. We call on Vincia Charles from the Watson Waven Primary to read her sports piece. Remember to wait for the stinger before you proceed with your sports.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
The senior men's national football team will battle the Dominican Republic and Antigua in the November window in Group D of League B in the CONCACAF Nations League. Dominica will first play the Dominican Republic on November 16th in the Dominican Republic and Antigua at the same venue on November 19th. Dominica sits third in Group D and needs to avoid a last place finish to avoid being relegated to League C.
And let's give it up for Vincia Charles from the Watson Waven Primary School. We now call on Giselle Rodney, reader number 8, from the Tetmon Primary School.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Coach of the national swimming team, Jason Robin, feels Dominica will put up a good effort at the OECS Swimming Championships. 3 swimmers will represent Dominica at the event for the first time in almost 20 years. The event is taking place in St. Vincent. Robin says there has been more interest in the sport following Dominica's participation at the 2024 Summer Olympic Games.
And that was Miss Giselle Rodney from the Tetmon Primary School. We'll give our judges a few minutes to tabulate their scores. 2 more readers in this round before we end our 6th and final competition in round 1 here at the Soufriere Primary School. Okay, our judges are ready. We call on reader number 9, Michael Gregoire from the Soufriere Primary School. You wait for the stinger before you proceed to read.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
2 matches are on this afternoon as the Sports Division Secondary Schools Football Tournament resumes. Academic School of Learning will battle the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School in the Under-20 division at Benjamin's Park. While at the DFA Technical Center in Stock Farm, the Dominica Grammar School will play the Goodwill Secondary School. Both matches get underway at 2:30 p.m.
Reader number 9 from our host school, the Soufriere Primary, Michael Gregoire. We now call on reader number 10 from the Girardel Primary School, Amaya Benjamin. Wait for the stinger to be played before you proceed with reading.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Head coach of the men's beach volleyball team, Ray Robinson, is backing the Dominican team to do well in the 8th stage of the Norquisa Beach Volleyball Continental Tour. The team left the state for El Salvador on Wednesday. The team captured gold earlier this year in the ECVA Beach Championships in St. Kitts. The tournament gets underway on Friday.
And that was Amaya Benjamin from the Girardel Primary, bringing us to an end of round number 3, the sports round, and also the end of competition 6 in round 1 of the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition. They all did well, am I correct? So now our judges will tabulate all their scores, and we will take a short break and be back with the results. We want to say thank you to our headline sponsor, Dragon Windows. Choose Dragon Windows, build resilience, build quality. Jay's Bookstore, Jay's Limited for all your books, back to school and office supplies. OT Trucking and Septic Cleaners. You call, they haul. Ruben's Bakery. Come taste the difference. Macmillan's Service Station, your Macmillan, your one-stop automobile shop. APP Electricals, we do it better. Lafayette's Medical Lab, quality and confidentiality assured. The West Coast Cooperative Credit Union, your only credible choice for success. The National Cooperative Credit Union, your community financial partner. Petro-Caribbean, Energy for Union. The Dominica Air and the Seaport Authority, DASPA, a dynamic gateway to economic growth. Peanuts Mountain Resort, Nature's Harmony, your modern retreat. Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited. The Dominica Electricity Services, DOMLEC, the power to serve you better. Lindomat, the Central Cooperative Credit Union. Jungle Bay, AC Shillingford and Company Limited, Perky's Pizza, Dominica Water and Sewage Company Limited, Our Water, Our Treasure, Our Life, and FRS Express Diesel. Thank you very much to our sponsors again for coming on board with this year's competition. We will take a short break. Students, you can get up, stretch, and we will be giving you a small refreshment as we await the results of competition 6. Okay, we are calling all our participants to make your way back to the stage. Okay, so our judges have returned with the results. Before we do give them out, we will just give each participant a token of appreciation from DBS Radio and our headline sponsor, Dragon Windows, as well as their certificates of participation. We begin with reader number 1 from the Grand Bay Primary School. Jerlon Gregoire, come forward to receive your certificate and a goodie bag from Dragon Windows and DBS Radio. Jadon Telemark from the Newton Primary. Amelia Barron, Bagatelle Primary School. Onik Hector, Bellevue Chopin Primary. Ades John Baptist, St. Luke's Primary School. Aliyah Paquette, Mont Prosper Primary. Irvincia Charles, Wharton Waven Primary. Giselle Rodney, Tetemon Primary. Michael Gregoire, Soufriere Primary School. And Amaya Benjamin from the Girardel Primary School. Okay, we will call on one of our judges, Miss Paula Dura, to just give a few remarks on behalf of the judging panel.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's been a pleasure being here. Nice seeing you. One thing, I felt very hurt this afternoon, and I'll tell you why. I am an avid reader. I love reading. And to hear most of our children say they don't like reading, that hurts. It hurts. I'm still feeling the pain. It hurts. Because I read, and from, their age and even younger, I read a lot. And let me tell you, it does help students. So, I don't know, parents, what can you do? Get your children more involved in reading. Please. It will help them and you. All right? So it was very painful for me to hear that people are up here competing in a reading competition and they don't like reading. It really hurt me. So I pray that we will do something about that, get our students more involved in reading. I know lately they like their tablets and their gadgets. We have seemed to make those our babysitters and our everything else, our entertainment. But parents, you have to take God. Take God, because what we are creating are a set of children who are like robots, because all they have to sit down and just watch this thing and no expression. And what it does is isolate them. They do not, maybe I'm even going off the reading chain right now, but that is all what happens from those gadgets. Too many gadgets. Get your children involved in playing in the dirt and playing with trees and playing with rocks and playing in river and doing those kind of things. It helped us. It made us who we are today. And when I look at our children today, it is totally different. They do not even know how to behave when they get into somewhere like a classroom. I've been a teacher for going on like 38 years. And in the classroom, the children do not even know anymore to raise their hand to answer a question. All of those things comes from spending too much time on the gadgets and picking up all the American styles. So please, get our children away from the gadgets and into reading. All right? This will help. And one of the things, now I'm going to the reading competition, the eyes. They don't look up enough. That is because they're not comfortable with reading. So they're not aware. They cannot look down on the book, pick up about 5 words, you have it in there, speak to you, and come back to their place. They cannot do that because they are not keeping enough in their minds. So it is a thing that they have to be reading constantly. It helps in comprehension. Every subject that we do, whether it is maths, science, it is written in English, isn't it? Isn't it? Every subject is written in English, even maths. So if you put a word problem in English and your child cannot read in English and understand it in English, can they do the maths? Can I hear you? Can they do the maths? No. So please, parents, for your sake, for your children's sake, get them involved in reading so that eye contact will be there. Schools, I would love to ask you, do not wait until the competition is coming around to then grab one person and just grab. No. Start. You know they've just completed their round. When by tomorrow, you can already start identifying who are the students you have in your class or your classes that you can start training them. And not 1, 2, 3. So if one cannot come, the next one steps in. So you all will always be on the ball. Always ready. And that's what we have to be, ready. Okay, this reading competition is a very good initiative, and I'm a little disappointed sometimes. Well, I have to congratulate you for that 10 schools took part today, and this is the best round we've had. So that I congratulate you for. All right, but this is something that is very serious. We need reading in everything that we do. So please get your children away from the gadgets, away from the television, into the reading. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Paula Dura, one of our judges for the reading competition. We will proceed into telling you our top 5 who will be proceeding to the semi-final rounds, which begin on the 29th of April at the St. Alphonsus Parish Hall in Roseau. Coming in at number 5, from the Mont Prospect Primary School, Aliyah Paquette. In number 4, please stand up. At number 4, from the Newtown Primary School, Jadon Telemac. Number 3, from the Grand Bay Primary School, Jerlon Gregoire. At number 2, from our host school, the Soufriere Primary School, Michael Gregoire. And topping competition 6 in round 1 of the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition. From the St. Luke's Primary School, Ada's John Baptist. These are our 5 top readers here today who will move on to round number 2. Round number 2 gets underway on April 29th in Roseau at the St. Alphonsus Parish Hall. We want to thank all of you for coming out, for participating. You all read really, really well. And we want to say thank you to our judges, our listeners, our supporters, to Gregory Caressa Rivera, who was here with us, staff of DBS Radio, and of course our headline sponsor, Dragon Windows. We say thank you and congratulations to all our students here today who have made it through, and to those who did not but had the bravery, who were brave enough to come out and represent their schools. Thank you to Dragon Windows. Dragon Windows, choose Dragon Windows. Build resilience, build quality. Jay's Bookstore, Jay's Limited for all your books, back to school and office supplies. OT Trucking and Septic Cleaners. You call, they haul. Ruben's Bakery, come taste the difference. Macmillan Service Station, your Macmillan, your one-stop automobile shop. APP Electricals, we do it better. Lafayette's Medical Lab, quality and confidentiality assured. West Coast Cooperative Credit Union, your only credible choice for success. The National Cooperative Credit Union, your community financial partner. Petro Caribbean, Energy for Union. Dominica Air and Seaports Authority, DASPA, a dynamic gateway to economic growth. Pinas Mountain Resort, Nature's Harmony, your modern retreat. Joseph and Gabriel and Company Limited. The Dominica Electricity Services, DOMLEC, the power to serve you better. Lindomat, the Central Cooperative Credit Union. Jungle Bay, AC Shillingford and Company Limited. Perky's Pizza, Dominica Water and Sewage Company Limited, or Water or Treasure or Life, and FRS Express Diesels. Thank you very much to all our sponsors, to all of you for coming out here today. And we look forward to seeing you when we commence our semi-final rounds in 2 weeks at the end of the Easter break.